working on this list over the weekend too. So I really like Experimental Synthesizer. I think Experimental Synthesizer is a pretty powerful card in these affinity lists. And then I thought it was kind of interesting that Ravager sacrifices your Synthesizer. What makes Tez worse than you thought? If you cast Tezzeret off of a Springleaf Drum, Darksteel Citadel, or Moonsnare Prototype, you don't get the mana reduction immediately. You don't get the mana reduction immediately, which is pretty rough. Because you've activated an ability of an artifact already. So I tested a few different versions of this deck. I'm also trying 4 Gingerbrute too. With the idea of like trying to like lower the curve when you're playing Synthesizer. And then so Gingerbrute's also very good with like the Nettlecyst Cranial Plating plan. I thought this was fine. I didn't play very many matches of this deck though. I'm not sure if this is what I want to play next, but I just wanted to talk about this list. Okay, new match, new opponent. Pretty good hand. Turn 1 Gingerbrute, turn 2 Nettlecyst, assuming everything goes well. Oh, yeah, let's go for the turn 1 Saga plan instead. When I was playing the Dreadnought Affinity list, I kept forgetting to like take this line. And then I'll offer the trade. It's really bad if they bolt my Ornithopter though, right? If they trade, then bolt, I get token, then let's not trade, actually. Why don't you play Thopter before the land for the flex? Gives them more information on if they should force my Springleaf Drum. It's not really much of a flex either. They see burn top 8. Yeah. I didn't see that, but yeah, I do see burn players now playing Luris all the time. I currently don't have energy for it, but maybe one day I'll have energy for it again. Okay, bolting Ornithopter into turn, but weird. Tinker with the 3 months, appreciate ya. Gaslight with the 18. Notice me sit by. No. Maybe next month. So I got these new headphones that go over the eardrum instead of in the ear. It's kind of hurts after wearing them for like 3 hours. I don't know. I'm gonna play it out. See how I feel at the end of the stream. Yeah, I just wanted to try it out because I really haven't been enjoying the ones I have had, but I'm maybe not gonna like these too much either. Yeah, I was buying Esther running shoes for Valentine's Day yesterday, and then they had these at the store too. I just wanted to try them out. I don't think I like them. Okay, so I'm gonna have 4 artifacts here. 5 after I play the sphere. I'm gonna be a little short of casting Thought Monitor. Yeah, I'm not sure what we get here. No, the first draft of this deck had Tezzeret. Tezzeret actually is a lot worse in this deck than I thought, than you might think in general. I think yeah, I agree with the Gingerbrute. Yeah, the problem with Tezzeret is that if you cast it off a Darksteel Citadel, Springleaf Drum, or Moonsnare Prototype, the mana reduction static ability from Tezzeret cannot be used on the first turn because you've already activated the ability of an artifact that turn. And I view that to be a big issue, especially because like the main reason I even like Tezzeret in the first place is the ability to like slam it early, get that mana reduction, start to like really pull ahead. And like with that just like not actually even being a thing anymore, I am kind of off of it. Okay, so we can go, I think Thought Monitor plus Shadowspear equip is the way. I do think that this is likely to get countered, but if it doesn't, that's obviously great for us, and it's, you know, a bit better to play around a counterspell in this manner, I think. Okay, so if they have Archmage's Charm, it's if they have Archmage's Charm, it's actually way better to just go to combat and then tap the construct that they steal with Charm. And then if they, we'll see what happens. Obviously, they have to do something here or they're dead. And then I can equip the Shadowspear to the monitor post-combat. How do I feel about Mox Opal in this list? I forgot to add Mox Opal. Dang it, I forgot to play Mox Opal in my Affinity deck. Maybe next time. Alright, this puts them dead on board. Probably not the best choice to steal. Yeah, Springleaf Drum is actually way better than Mox because you get to tap it against Archmage's Charm. Alright, so we're bringing the Aether Spellbomb for their Murktides, and then Relics are probably okay as well. Kind of down to Trim and Nettlecyst. Not sure. I think this is probably a matchup where you don't want to over sideboard too much. I do want the first one. Maybe cut the 4th Ravager, cut a Gingerbrute 2. Let's play 2. I think that I don't know if that was intentional for Tezzeret's design. It could have been. It could not have been, right? It's hard to say for sure. Close Hand really needs a 1 mana rock, but I think we can probably do better on 6. This hand's pretty explosive. It doesn't really have any payoff, but I'll keep it. I feel about only 2 artifact lands. I think it's fine. We don't have any thought casts. I think that we have we also have of course 4 blue 1 mana spells, 4 red ones, and so having the 16 colored sources, Springleaf Drum, and the dual lands, I feel like is what you need to. I think 16 sources is about the number you need to reliably cast these cards. Man, land is such a bad draw here. Needs more Slag Fiend. Okay, I remember reading Slag Fiend earlier, last year for the first time. I liked it. Power and toughness equal number of artifact cards in all graveyards. Rough. Yeah, Emrakul is just for mill. The Emrakul is always just in the sideboard for mill. I'm surprised we still get this question, to be honest. Yeah, the Emrakul it's still just in the sideboard for mill. Okay, we'll play it out. Maybe I should get Jegantha in hand there. Maybe next turn. It's never in there for anything else. Okay, it's just there for mill. Ooh, they hit a synthesizer. I would have liked a synthesizer. Thoughts on the first Reality Heist over the 4th Thought Monitor? Thought Monitor is better than Reality Heist, especially because the best card to hit off Reality Heist is Thought Monitor, and so it's when you're cutting Thought Monitors for Heist, it makes no sense because that's the card you want to find. Yeah. Also double blue is a nightmare. So when they didn't cast this, they must have counterspell. I guess I can't cast the Jegantha next turn. I'll just cast the Plating. Why not Blessing? Since if you cast it, you can draw it because your opponents have Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Oh, bummer. Are they're just not gonna play it? Okay, they play it now. They shouldn't have played their land first. They can also, they get to sack it for value this turn or next turn. What was I saying? Probably nothing important. Oh, Tasha's Hideous Laughter. You just want a higher mana value card because of Tasha's. And casting Guy's Blessing against Mill isn't really that good because once you've cast it, you don't get to use it again. You know what I mean? Obviously you get some value out of it, but you really just don't want to draw these cards. That's on Galvanic Blast. You could play Galvanic Blast. I think it's probably better to not. You could play it. I'm getting smacked for a lot. Guess I didn't play around Charm very well. Notably, I guess they have Counterspell up now, possibly. Alright, Nettlecyst. Not a bad draw. Assuming they only have one card left. Obviously, it could be good. But we beat a lot of stuff here. We beat Lightning Bolts. Okay, that's all we beat. They can't cast Charm. But next turn we get to maybe equip Shadowspear and just start racing. Yeah, but Synthesizer I think is pretty good. I did spend some time playtesting this list. How'd I get Cranial Black? I never lost the Cranial Plating never left my control. I equipped Cranial Plating to my Memnite, then they stole my Memnite. The plating was still equipped to it, but I still controlled the plating. I just didn't have a different creature to move it over to until I cast the Nettlecyst. Yeah, I think they're totally just forgetting to activate this ability, right? Unless they have something. Oh, they have something. This kills me, right? I don't have life leak anymore, then I'm dead to the flyers. Okay, game 3. Rough stuff. Hurkyl is kind of funny if they steal a bunch of my artifacts with Ragavan, huh? Yeah, same thing with Batterskull, yeah. Yeah. Do you get to be able to play for game 3? I wonder if they're going to slide out some Blood Moons on the draw. How's Ravager felt? I mean, Ravager is a good card in this archetype. Like, I kind of personally feel like it got abandoned a little too quickly by, like, just in the normal affinity decks. So on turn 2, I'll have 3 mana and 3 artifacts. So I'm 1 shy of turn 2 Thought Monitor. This hand's really close. I'm going to send it back, I think. This hand is not getting there either. Can I have that 7-card hand back, please? Our Moonsnare's feeling more aggressive version like this. Well, what I like about Moonsnare in this version is that we have the full 8 equipment, and then you get to tap like you get to like play Cranial Plating, tap Plating to Moonsnare equip, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I know Affinity doesn't mull particularly well, which maybe I should have kept a 7 because of that. I thought like maybe the average 6 was better, but then like our 6 was like completely unkeepable. Now we have a bad 5-card hand. Cracked the Earth yeah, the Cracked the Earth Synthesizer is kind of funny. Probably want to pop the Relic end of turn, so I will offer the trade of Memnite for Channeler, which they will not take. Why does it not mull? You need like a critical mass of cards for a lot of your cards. Nettlecyst, Cranial Plating, Thought Monitor, Urza Saga all need like a lot of artifacts in play, and so the more you're mulliganing, the less artifacts you have. Yeah, I think Patchwork is only good in Scales. I don't think Patchwork is good in like more traditional Affinity decks, but I could be wrong. Yeah, Gaijo killing Turok is pretty cool. I do like that. Alright, I popped the Relic. Land, huh? Not even having the decency for... These lands don't even have the decency to be Urza Saga. Okay, but Synthesizer can do no wrong. It could maybe do a little wrong. Yeah, have you tried Patchwork, Mr. Sari? You tried it felt horrible. In Affinity or Scales? We have 18 lands in the deck, including the 4 sagas. We also have, you know, a lot of the... We have, you know... I think we have... It's either 18 or 17. You could maybe go down to 17, because we also have the 8 1-mana artifacts. So we are, you know, kind of high on mana sources. But we also have a lot of mana sinks. You can, you know, channel Moonsnare when you top deck it too. Okay, so they get Delirium off of the Delta. So I think we're not... So we can't attack with the Samurai, but we can activate Gingerbrute at least. Oh, Rolling Wrist, sorry. Is Gaedron just bad? I mean, I like the card, but it ain't that good. It's just Fiery Islet. Maybe, yeah. Maybe some Fiery Islets over Shivan Reefs are correct. Okay, do not put Veteran Motorist in your modern deck. Don't do it. Don't put Veteran Motorist in your modern deck. Don't put March of Reckless Joy is also completely unplayable. Do not put that in your deck either. I also feel like you're like maybe a little light on discard outlets. I see that you're definitely just trying to play more of a fair game plan, and if that's the case, like maybe I would recommend like 4 Sentinel, 4 Ragavan. Although I will say, like, I feel like Sentinel and they're stealing my Samurai. Okay, I feel like Sentinel and discard spells don't usually play that well together, so I'm not like necessarily like really stoked to see this card here. I'm not really of the opinion that it's going to be. Or sorry, like yeah, I don't discard spells and Sentinel don't play that well together. So you can maybe play just Ragavan over Sentinel, and so you get to keep your discard spells. Don't play Heart of Kirin either when you need Smuggler's Copter. Like Smuggler's Copter 4 is so much better than Heart of Kirin because at least the way you're more Helion. You know, this is a stronger card in general too, in Modern at least. I don't understand what the Faith Shields are in the sideboard for. If you could maybe enlighten me, that'd be fine. I don't think you want Mech Hanger either. I think Mech Hanger is too hard on the mana. I did consider Mech Hanger when I was first building these decks. I am currently of the opinion it's not something you want. Let's get a Relic here, I think. Okay, I don't think I've got too many more thoughts. These Nihiris are probably fine. They're probably not that necessary. Yeah, you gotta cut these Reckless Joys, though. Fuck. We just lose. It's just over. Ravager's dead. My token's dead. Alright. Game 2, they bring removal for combo vehicles. Face shield is 1 mana counter ensure. Okay, Blacksmith skill is better at doing that. Play Blacksmith skill instead, right? I think. Yeah, a lot of people have asked me about Reality Heist. I think Reality Heist is worse than a lot of other options. Okay, I can channel this. Yeah, for a creature entering with a counter, it enters with no counters instead. Yeah, that dress down was deadly. Deadly dress down. Okay. Alright, we'll look in this hand. This hand I like this hand enough to keep it. Trying to think how we're going to sequence this. I actually kind of like putting back Gingerbrute and then going turn 1 Canal Prototype, and then I can cast most cards off Synthesizer on turn 2. I can also put back a Spirebluff Canal. It's kind of greedy. Yeah, I have played the Vehicle Reanimator list. I like that deck a lot. That's the I recorded a video with that for that for that deck for Channel Fireball. Should be going up soon. We'll be playing more of it too. It's also one I kind of want to mellow on. Like I played the Vehicle deck in the Food Shell, and I do think that there's a lot of overlapping synergy with the food package and the Greasefang deck. That being said, I do my next plan is to try it in like more of a fair Mardu deck and just kind of see how that is. This is a really good hit, actually. Why play Rakdos over Grixis Shadow? The main reasons are that you have a better matchup spread overall. Like, Rakdos is, like, good against Titan, good against Tron, good against Blue-White Control, while Shadow is, like, weak against those 3 decks. Okay, so I could go sack Ornithopter. Yeah, I think I'll just put the counter on Ornithopter. It's fine. Not sure exactly what they're doing over there. But, okay, Cathartic Reunion discarding Arid Mesa, Cleansing Wildfire. I have got to say, I've certainly seen better. I've certainly seen better Cathartic Reunions. We could pop the. No, sorry. What mana short of activating and popping the Synthesizer? I might get Zabaz so I can pop Synthesizer. It's gonna depend on what we draw, I guess. Wait, why would they discard Wildfire? Why wouldn't they Wildfire my Saga? Yeah, the 0-1 Brocket, huh? Shadow's harder to pilot. Yeah, but I think difficulty to pilot is not like a great... Okay, they also have Ensnaring Bridge in their deck. Just another card over there, I guess. Yeah, I think difficulty to pilot is like... You know... I don't know how much like that matters for evaluating a deck. I think it's usually not something I recommend taking too much stock in, or caring that much about. Are they on the red invoke? Who knows? Eyelash stream again? That's cool. That's cool. Probably gonna read Eyelash today. Fair enough. The Marduk's mandatory for Grease because of Engineer. I'm trying Abzan with Grist. Well, like, yeah, Engineer is the best enabler, and it's just like you could build Abzan, you could build Esper, but like Esper with Dakin's kind of exciting. I wonder if you could be 4-color with Engineer and Dakin. That's potentially something to think about. Burning Inquiry? What is their deck? What is happening? Dude, my opponent is they're just out here putting cards in the deck, huh? The Wrath of God Burning Inquiry deck, and we're getting trashed. Okay, I do have Moonsnare Prototype in the deck to beat Bridge. But like, what is like they've shown us Reunion, Burning Inquiry, and they haven't shown us a single good card to discard. Okay, second Bridge is gonna be very tough to beat. We might as well play it out though. Oh yeah, Ornithopter Plating. Okay, that's actually just something we would do with the Saga, huh? Trying to think if I should play the Drum. Yeah, I should probably play it for a second Black Source. I was thinking of holding it for Burning Inquiry. Fuck. I mean, they're okay. They're dead to Gingerbrute because they still have 2 cards in their hand. Okay, there's one Prototype. Still have 2 cards in their hand. Probably spot removal spells. Yeah, Wrath of God's a pretty good card, I guess. Yeah, we also haven't seen a single win condition. Who needs win conditions? Yeah, Gingerbrute is a well, I guess, I mean, they probably have a removal spell in their hand, right? You're kidding me. You're actually kidding. Okay, I don't have a basic to get. I'll just gain 3 life. It's like a Nettlecyst, I guess. Could prototype my own Brute. Yeah, I just really feel like they've got another removal spell in their hands, so like waiting till I draw a second prototype is I think is better. I'm getting pretty close to being able to channel both in the same turn. It's obviously a pretty good draw. It's pretty awkward if I exile a Moonsnare to the synthesizer. But I think getting a 2/2 and play next turn is kind of nice because it's also something I could equip onto. I could attach the plating onto. Yeah, hopefully Ornithopter takes it home. I mean I will say, like, you know, them having another Wrath is, like, I feel like probably somewhat likely. Oh, I guess I had the Thought Monitor for that too. Yeah, so I just wasn't supposed to pop the synthesizer yet, I guess. And now I don't have blue mana for the anything. I mean, if their only win condition is Shrine, I can maybe just channel this. That's Ornithopter. Yeah, maybe I should have. I feel like they have 6 cards in their hand, or like they had several cards in their hand that turn, so it felt like to me that they still had more removal spells. So I think bouncing my Ornithopter is just like never winning here. Or we play Monitor. I don't have any blue mana. I can't play Monitor. It's a Blood Moon in play. Okay, that's blue mana. I discard 2 more Monitors. What is this game, man? These Burning Inquiries, like, straight up have no synergy. These Burning Inquiries reunions are straight up just draw spells. I don't understand. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. They're just draw spells. It's a pretty good hit. The 0-1 bracket. Yeah, we didn't see a lot of matches like this back there in the trophy race, huh? Okay, then I can't channel this. I have a sad hit. So I have 1 more Moonsnare in the deck, right? Yeah. Should I just channel on the Shrine? I guess I get to draw it immediately. Well, Welding Jar doesn't protect from Wrath of God. Why would you want Welding Jar? You could play a Welding Jar, yeah. Yeah, I'll probably bounce the Shrine into turn. I mean, it currently does 11. Maybe I should have done this a little earlier. Alright. Yeah, I probably should have done this a little earlier, but I'm also, like, super stun locked and I have no idea what's going on. I've never seen Burning Inquiry just as, like, this is just a good draw spell for me, which is not. This is, like, I don't understand them playing all these reunions and inquiries just as filtering spells and cantrips to turn on Shrine. This is, like, some of the wackiest deck building I have ever seen in my entire life. Yeah, you know they've got Stony Silences. Oh, man. Alright, replays the Shrine. Decline to deal me 11 damage or deal anything 11 damage. I have no idea how much damage this is. Chat, somebody help me. How much damage is this? It's 4? We're sure if it's 4? Chat, help. I wasn't paying attention. I need to save it so I can attach the Cranial Plating, but I think we win. I mean, we might as well... Yeah, it's kind of free to, like, sack these. Oh, I could just modular over. Yeah, I don't know. I know it wasn't this much, but I'll just use the modular instead of the plating. It was 4. But, we win. They've got 2 cards in their hand. This is like... oh no, don't say In Before Solitude. Surely we would have seen a Solitude. We've seen 45 of their cards. Or almost 45. We would have seen a Solitude if they had it in their deck. Easy game. Easy game. Yeah. Sideboard guard against the deck, yeah. Yeah, watch out on Channel Fireball for that. Coming out any day now. Maybe I need more Nettlecyst because I don't know. I just don't know what's happening. Emrakul so I don't get locked in milled. Well, that is Shrine of Burning Range. Oh no, I should have brought a needle for Shrine. I should have bought a needle for Shrine. I don't think I was supposed to bring in Hurkyl's Recall, but I mean I don't know what's happening, man. They decided to take a mulligan. Why not Thoughtcast? The idea is that you don't want to play infinite card draw spells in Affinity, right? And then the idea is testing Experimental Synthesizer, especially when combined with Ravager, is potentially better than Thoughtcast. I really like Synthesizer a lot. I think that it might be. Well, you know, it is a problem that it stretches your mana base, but like, you know, it draws a card when it comes down. And then it's an artifact that stays in play, and then you either can sack it to itself later, or you can sack it to Ravager for value. And yeah, I guess that's it. Can Stubby get in the deck? I don't think in this build. There are potentially some builds of Affinity with like Frogmite Mirror Enforcer that you can play Stubby D. A little bit of a flood here. My opponent's kept a 1-lander. I'll play Ravager. Second Bolts. 1 land's Sunbait Canyon. Okay. Second land, also Sunbait Canyon. But now they're able to start looting things away, discarding 2 copies of Ensnaring Bridge. I'm pretty keen to hold this Moonsnare Prototype to channel. We've drawn a lot of lands, so classic Screw versus Flood. Yeah, Rabbit Battery is interesting. I plan to play some Hammer with Rabbit Battery soon. I think that's actually pretty interesting. I haven't put the list together yet, but I think that Rabbit Battery is like going to be very good there. Yeah, go ahead and just accept this if they want to pop that for 0. And then for the second time this match, companion being relevant. Rapid Battery Steel Overseer. Okay, that is kind of cool. Please Burning Inquiry me. Oh my gosh, I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe, you know, this is a lesson. A lot of you got that's relevant in life and relevant in Magic. That trying to make sense out of senselessness is usually not advisable. Okay, can I channel on the bridge and then hold up Rebuke? It looks like I'm going to be 1 short. So let's just hold up channel / Rebuke here for now. It's a Rabbit Battery, not Rapid. Sorry. I would pay good money to watch my opponent play against a Tron deck. I would pay good money to just watch them play against Tron. Doesn't Jegantha tap for mana? Oh yeah, it does. But then I'm not attacking with it, so like a little less incentivized there. Just I don't understand anything. We put the bridge on top. This currently costs how much? 4. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, then I do still have Rebuke up. What a Thought Monitor Rebuke Reveal? We can't Thought Monitor plus channel, right? If we get Thought Monitor plus channel, we should have, but I'm trying to go channel and then hit him for 5, hit him for 5. After rebuking their play this turn. Oh, whoops. Did miss lethal. Forgot about the Nettlecyst. I mean, the Rebuke is lethal too, right? Just takes a little longer to get there. Do we even add that to the record? I guess. It was actually a hard work. We'll add it. Alright, let's keep this. Yeah, I would rather tap Emry for this kind of effect than pay mana to like return a permanent too. But this does return enchantments. Or like an article in the card. Yeah. Maybe Ari found like some interesting application for the card that I haven't found, but I'm not sure. My mic is buzzing on and off. Okay, I haven't heard about my mic buzzing. I know I've got like a little bit of a fan issue. It combos with Artificer's Intuition. Does it? I thought Artificer's Intuition combo was it with that card? I thought it was a different card. Yeah, it combos with the 2/1, right? Deal. Baymont, 8 months, appreciate you. Okay, I think I Thoughtseize Mine and Assist. Trigger the Turok. It combos the Modern with Time Machine. Okay, so... Okay, how about this? You guys go read Ari's article, and... You know, we won't try to, like, just reverse engineer his hard-written article. You guys can go try to read it, and, you know, decide for yourself if there's something there. Because whatever it is, I don't see it. So, yeah, go read Ari's article. Pay him, too. Baybot, 8 months, appreciate you. Actually, I've played against Ari 2 or 3 times in paper. I like Ari. I played against him in the first Pro Tour I ever played. He was the end boss of my draft pod. We were both 2-0. And his deck was mono, was blue-white rares. It was absurd. And I had, like, I think a green-black, like, counters deck that was, like, solid, but didn't have, like, you know, mini bombs. But I ended up, like, swinging out, and Ari was, like, at 2 life, and he's like, and I have 1 card in hand, 1 mana. And he goes, there's no way you have it. There's no way you have it. And then I don't know the name of the card, but there's a 1-mana +2/+2 card that synergizes with counters, and it was Xaxes, and I feel like I ended up getting lucky and beating the much better deck. Or his deck was absurd. I think he had like 5 or 6 rares. Which PT? That would have been I think Hour of Devastation. It was Nashville. It's the first one I ever played. Okay, getting Gingerbrute here, I think, so we can equip the plating. I played him at like an SCG Open 2, maybe just those 2 times. But he was also really nice to us at the tournament. He would say hi. I didn't really like know anybody too at that event, like just a couple people. So he was, it was really cool to, for a Pro Tour champion, be saying hi. Did I win GP Vegas 1.0? I've never I went to the Vegas and the CFB Vegas recently, but that was the first Vegas tournament I ever played at. I really could just never afford to go to these big tournaments for the most part. I could usually afford to go to like 1 or 2 a year on average, like GPs and stuff. It was always just like so. It was very prohibitively expensive for me. Oh, these are swamps, dude. I totally thought these were mountains. The art on this is sick. It actually looks like an area from Sekiro, but they don't really look like swamps. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I also didn't go to any GPs this last year. Well, I don't know if you count the CP Vegas. Probably should. Right. Could have made a token pre-combat, but I kind of thought that they were going to make the first move there. Yeah, if the lantern was purple, yeah, it would look so much more like a swamp. It would still look really good. I kind of feel like this was intentionally intended to be a mountain. I don't know. Maybe not. The other mountain looks really good too. Or I guess, sorry, we're talking about swamps. But I got some of the basic lands from the new set. I think they all look really nice, but the island I've been using looks like a forest, and this forest looks nice. Yeah, but this island looks like a forest, but the art is really nice. Oh, you can't. Can you even see that? You can. This mountain is really pretty. And then where's the swamp? Yeah, I've been playing this swamp. This swamp looks really, really good. Okay, this is a Delirious Heat. Just gonna sack it to the Ravager. Oh, I should have actually made a token first, because now if they kill the Ravager, I can't modular. But I guess it doesn't really matter either way, because I can't, like, modularing onto the other token doesn't do anything, right? We were talking about this the other day. But I think it's just, like, in life, really easy to be critical of things that you really like and that are almost just perfect. You know what I mean? It's like I really like this land, and I really like Kamigawa too. But there's just like there are a few problems with it. It's not perfect. Very few things are ever perfect, of course. But in life, it's just really easy to like nitpick things that are almost perfect, because it's just like it could have been better. It could have been better, but it's not. But it's still pretty good. Okay, I'll bring in a Needle for explosives against Grixis pile, probably some relics as well. I'll trim the 4th Moonsnare. Kind of like keeping more Nettlecyst and plating against all this creature removal. Trim a plating. You got the Shadowspear in this matchup, pretty easy. Have I tried Synthesizer in any other deck? Yeah, I put it as a one of in the Mardu vehicles list, and I liked it there as an engineer target, or at least it was fine there, right? It was fine. I could trip an Ornithopter. I also like I put this list together, right? Okay, I don't know. I put a Grixis food list together. I kind of want to tweak it a little bit, but I do think Synthesizer is interesting here, especially with Oni Cut Anvil. I might want to play more of these. Tezzeret is depressing me because I guess it's less relevant for this deck, but like I really was excited for it in like the Synthesizer Affinity deck or Affinity decks where you could power it out with Moonsnare Prototype Springleaf Drum. But the problem is if you cast Tezzeret using a piece of artifact mana, you don't get the mana reduction for the activated abilities, which is on that turn, which is just like makes the card so much worse. You know, obviously, like, it doesn't necessarily kill the card. Like, you know, it may still be somewhat playable, but I just wish it was a little bit better. Yeah, Nettlecyst was, like, the main thing I wanted to do with the mana reduction in this deck, where you get to go, like, Nettlecyst, Tezzeret, equip immediately, but it's just so much harder to do that if you, like, tap a Citadel or a Drum or a Moonsnare, right? Just kind of stinks. And I think another point, but there's other things to do like cracking food, cracking clues. Good to do with Tezzeret. It does work. It is nice with Synthesizer Tezzeret as well. Which you saw like I have that synergy here in this food shell, which I haven't played. I don't know if I'm gonna play it, but there's something there potentially. Time for some KCI in Modern. Is Oni Cut Anvil actually playable? I mean, yeah. Like, I do. I mean, playable is a funny word. Where I think this card, like in a food shell, has a ton of synergy and a lot of power, and is a card that is interesting. The food deck's still kind of weak though. Like like Oni Cut Anvil doesn't change that. See if they miss another land drop. Okay, they find the second land. Why don't you get to mana reduction? So yeah, if you cast Tezzeret with an artifact mana, you've already activated the ability of an artifact that turn. So you know, Tezzeret says whenever you activate an artifact for the first time that turn, you get mana reduction. We still haven't sacked Synthizer to Ravager yet. Really want to. Okay. Zabaz is also another way to kill your own Synthesizer. Let's just go ahead. I guess let me play the second drum here. And then I'll just attack for 6 and kind of incentivize them to pop their EE on 0. Kethis has any, like... You know, I'm honestly, like, not that familiar with Kethis combo. Like, I've seen it in action. It's cool, but I really don't... I haven't played enough Kethis combo to tell you, like, exactly, like, how it could function in Modern effectively. It always seems so fragile to like, Modern's efficient hate, as opposed to, like, when Kethis combo was really good in Pioneer, and I believe it was okay in Historic, too, right? Like, when it was, like, good in those formats, like, just, like, the interaction in those formats is so much slower and less efficient. And, like, you're able to, like, actually play, like, a good grindy plan B, which I don't know that you can do in, I don't know that you can do in Modern with, like, these, like, goofy, big legendary cards. Maybe you can, and maybe you can't. Okay, we did it. We successfully sacked a Synthesizer to Ravager. Trying to think if I want to pop this down and play on Drown. I think I'll wait. Okay, my opponent immediately taps a blue and taps a black, and then untaps them. It's possible that they are selling a Drown with Luck here, and I think I'm buying. Kolaghan's Command? Kill Ravager, make me discard. Okay, I will pop this in response. Discard this. Make a token. I'm just gonna cast the relic here. Could maybe be targeting myself for Drown. 100% sure. Dude, this is their mountain. This one looks great. I personally prefer the other one, the one that's like more like a cozy little mountain mining town, I think. But yeah, this one looks good too. Yeah, I agree that they could have templated Tezzeret's static ability differently if this was not the intended way for it to function. It's hard to tell. Like maybe like it was intended that you couldn't, like maybe they wanted you to wait a turn for you to get the mana reduction off Tezzeret's ability. Like that could have absolutely been intentional. But you know, either way, intentional or not, it is a pretty big nerf to the card. Sad. So we drew Gingerbrute. Yeah, I'm just going to needle engineered explosives. We could have potentially gone for a different line where we don't make a token and then we equip Nettlecyst onto the construct after playing our Gingerbrute, which is lethal. But they do have the treasure token up, so like I think just like walking into a fatal push here makes like just no sense. We got time. Why not play the Gingerbrute pre-combat? I'm saving the relic activation, and then it's like I know my opponent has Ragavan in their hands, so if I tap this to cast the Gingerbrute, I do get in for 2 more damage. Then I don't, but I lose the relic, and then I also get hit by the Ragavan. So like this being able to block Ragavan is nice too. Yeah, we did beat the red-white Inquiry deck. We did 2-0 it. That was the weirdest deck I've ever played against in my entire life. I've never seen Burning Inquiry paired with 0 cards that are good to discard. It was... I've never seen anything like that in my entire life, and I expect I never will again. Okay, they have Dress Down. They're going to end of turn Dress Down. Fuck. Oh yeah, the second right. Yeah, the second right's a weird card. I couldn't like. I don't know that. I don't think it's a good main deck card, and I also feel like it's like worse than like, a lot of other options. Okay, I think I want the Moonsnare, so I can go Gingerbrute plus equip Nettlecyst next turn. I guess no. I should do it this turn so I could potentially block Ragavan. I guess, but oh wait, sorry, I have to tap the mana. Well, I guess I'm just equipping now. This will be good against burn removal spells. Yeah, they were maybe just doing like some kind of funny stipulation. Alright, so they have Ragavan, 5 unknowns. We were so Dress Down. We lost match 1 to Dress Down. Dress Down is wrecking us here. I mean, Urza Saga is obviously it's absurd, but it's probably just not a great way to combat Dress Down. Just it's gonna get you sometimes in a deck like this. Yeah, Tezzeret is straight broken if that static ability is in play for every activated ability every turn. So many combos. Okay, casting Ragavan, but I can't activate Gingerbrute to get through this, so my opponent's gotta have something else, right? What do you think is the best affinity build so far? I don't know. I know that's like, yeah, it's always the question everybody wants. What's the best? But it just takes a lot of time to answer those questions. It's a good draw. The colorless has performed the best so far, but I haven't played a ton of the Dreadnought version yet. So I can't quite equip. I just pass. I don't think I want to trade Gingerbrute for Ragavan, and I also don't know that I want to tap the Thought Monitor. I think it would haste, because then it's kind of too easy for them to hit me with it, though. You know, what's the worst Affinity build? That's the easier question to ask. Yeah, your favorite is the answer, unfortunately. Burning Inquiry Affinity. Well, surely in Burning Inquiry Affinity, you see the synergy of playing Hollow One, right? Okay, opponent puts Lurrus in hands. You don't want me to answer that question, Panda. You don't want me to say it. Tez good in Stoneblade over Jace. Maybe. Yeah, I do think it's possible that there's a build of Stoneblade with Tezzeret. I don't know, though. Okay, opponent is dead on board, but we are playing it out for some reason. Wolfgang, 9 months, appreciate you. How's you liking the stream still? Alright, 2 and 1. Let's mulligan this. Tender would really like a 0-mana artifact creature. Yeah, like there's just kind of no shortage of card draw payoffs for these artifact decks. So that's just not the choke point. Like, yeah, what's really like what the hard part of these artifact brews is the smaller part of the curve, like the early game. That's really what's tough to figure out. And you know, this is something we say all the time, and something that a point I think is still like very important to hammer home is that like the vast majority of brews in every format has too high a curve. And players are too focused on the dirtily card draw spells that are somewhat replaceable, and they're not as focused as they need to be on the early game, the low parts of the curve. And that's just, you know, general advice for you guys to listen to or not listen to. Yeah, I mean, Tezzeret and Tireless Tracker is definitely something I'm looking at. I found that to be one of the hardest deck ideas to build. Hold on. This was an old brew that we had before Modern Horizons 2. Kind of trying to capitalize on Gingerbread Cabin, putting an artifact into play, fetching it. And I am trying to work on Tezzeret in this shell. One thing that I've recently kind of thought about, and it feels weird to say, but I kind of think in this deck, in this Tezzeret, in the Gingerbread Cabin deck, I think you don't play Urza Saga if you play Gingerbread Cabin. I think you can play Yavimaya. But it's just like not consistent enough. So I kind of feel like you just don't play Urza Saga, which is like, it's so weird to like play a deck like this and not play Saga. So like maybe this is just not good. You get to be like more resilient to Alpine Moon at least, but you know, it's something I'm struggling with, I guess I should say. Like for me to like have a deck idea like this, and like, man, you probably just don't play Saga here. It's a bit tough. I'm sure this is before Modern Horizons 2. I'm sure this whole thing looks really different. It looks like there were some Elder Gargaroths in that sideboard. Yeah, but she also like maybe gets to play Wrenn and 6 too, and like Wrenn and 6 works well with Mox Amber potentially in that shell. I can play the Canal next turn. Yeah. This is also like a goofy deck with a high mana curve. I know. Like, I'm not saying that I'm innocent of, you know, Also, like, focusing too much on, like, you know, these goofy brewers with high mana curves. Don't think of it 2 months. Appreciate you. Yeah, I know. Gargaroth got heated right out of the format. I did like Gargaroth like a little bit though. I definitely remember like thinking Gargaroth was like at least a somewhat playable card for a time. Okay, does seem like my opponent has no removal for my constructs. If they have dress down, it's okay. We'll just lose. Okay, so this is gonna be 5 and then 6 off the trigger here. Probably getting Shadowspear. Okay, it was actually fine, and we did just lose. I don't know, maybe we play it out. I think all of our game losses so far this week have been to dress down. I think that's maybe just gonna be how it goes. Oh, I guess I want the needle for explosives, I guess. Yeah, I think yeah, I've just kind of been thinking about this list. I haven't actually started to put it together. But it probably looks something like this. Why are these chromatic stars in here? I don't know. I think you probably play Ragavan here too. I'm not sure if you play Goose or not, but maybe lead more on Mox Amber. Maybe lead more on Mox Amber. Or are Mox in the list? Well, in this list, like, you have Ragavan, Ren and 6, then, like, Mox Amber lets you go, like, turn 2 Ren and 6, turn 3, 4 mana legendary creature. Like, I'm even, like, I'm inclined to, like, play, like, at least the second Mox Amber, maybe even the third. I don't know. Sorry, I'll mess around with that off stream. That's, you know, one of those off stream deck lists, really. Just wanted to talk about some thoughts on it, because I know a lot of people have been asking about this. And like I really do think if we're gonna make, assuming Gingerbread Cabin is still where we want to be with that deck idea, which is maybe not the case, but assuming it is, then I actually don't think you play Saga, and it absolutely could be the case that like Saga is just too good in this archetype that like if you're not incentivized to play Saga, you shouldn't be playing it at all. But at the very least, like this is something to explore potentially. Dude, I love Mind Collapse. That card's awesome. Yeah, this deck, you know, it's also like I kind of want to play up a Seiju, but then it's awkward with the cabins. So maybe you just don't play cabin. Maybe you just don't play cabin. You still play Saga. That's probably gonna end up being better. And I'll just cry and regret never getting to play Gingerbread Cabin again, I guess. One, two, three, four, 5. Oh no, sorry. I meant to tap. Oh, duh. Sorry. I meant to tap the synthesizer here. We could have played the Thought Monitor. I meant to tap synthesizer to Moonsnare. Big mistake. It's okay. I'll do the next turn. Do I deliberately have a Breathe Right strip on my nose? What the fuck do you think? Do you think I accidentally have a Breathe Right strip on my nose every day? What do you think? What kind of question is that? Yeah, tripped and fell right into the Breathe Right strip in the morning, every morning. I get really nasally and sneezy if I don't have it on, and it, you know, it's when you're talking all day, you don't want to be nasally. Any nasally people in the chat? Yeah, it's a court ordered rethread strips. Court ordered rethread strips. Man, they have drown and not dress down. We can win. Awesome. Okay, so make a token. And then I can get a Springleaf Drum in order to make another token. And just walk right into another dress down. Maybe I'll just get Springleaf Drum anyway and cast Cranial Plating, try to go for Plating Equip. Maybe I could Needle Engineer Explosives. I should probably do that. I feel like this is something like, this is like a decision point that I find myself in a lot, and like once I reach the decision point that like I have the option to Needle Engineered Explosives or lose to Engineered Explosives when I'm already like pretty ahead, I think it usually just makes sense to Needle the Explosives. K-Command. I mean, K-Command would be really bad for me, obviously. And making another Construct definitely plays better around another Kolaghan's Command, but I have a Construct coming off the other Saga here. This next turn, I've got Nettlecyst in my hand. I feel like just trying to hedge against Explosives makes a lot of sense. If they have, you know, Kolaghan's Command into Explosives, good for them. Okay, they shock in the Watery Grave. They go Heat plus Shadow, they die, so I don't think they're gonna take that line. Okay, then they don't cast the Heat. Interesting. I mean, this is a pretty straightforward line, right? What do I have? I might be a mana short, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I guess I'm a mana short of Nettlecyst Equip, Cranial Plating Equip onto my 2 flying creatures. Okay, so I think we play just a little bit slower here. I kind of like equipping on the Thought Monitor, just like because this does beat push if that's what they're on. It's obviously, you know, very easy for them to have Heat instead, but they did exile the Heat. Relic equip Shadowspear. If they Heat, we equip Plating to the other one. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, we should have just gone for Cranial Plating attach. Yeah, just equip Plating onto Ornithopter. Go for attach if they have the Heat. That was a mistake for sure. I feel like I always missed that line. I didn't play a lot of Affinity back in the day. How did Mirror Rogues end up? Not that well. Not that well. I did feel like I really like Kaito, but like finding like the deck that Kaito fits into has been a challenge so far. Yeah, the Mox Opal days. Before the dark times. So we can channel the Death Shadow here. We can channel Death Shadow, tapping both of these. I kind of like that, and then just attack with the Construct. And this probably doesn't, you know. Well, let's see. Hold on. I can also go for Plating equipped to Ornithopter, then cast Nettlecyst attack with these two. Ravager is useless. It's kind of strong words. I have had a lot of people come into the chat lately and just call like literally any card I'm experimenting with useless. It's kind of funny to see that exact same word used. I don't know, because I feel like I haven't seen... I don't feel like that's a common... You know, usually you'll say unplayable or bad or terribad. Something like that. But I had like 2 people earlier come and say Kaito is useless. But again, the idea behind Ravager in this deck is that it gets a bit better with Synthesizer in the deck. And it, you know, it's implying that Ravager is like a terrible card in Affinity. You know, it feels a bit weird to me. Maybe it is. Maybe it is, but it feels a bit weird to imply that. Okay, command pretty good. I guess I should cast a Moonsnare at this point. Oh, and I should have used this mana to equip onto the Memnite. Ravager doesn't really come with the affinity mechanic. Yeah, well, this list only has the thought monitors. I do understand. Like, I understand that Ravager is like going in on it's not that good on with Nettlecyst and Cranial Plating and Thought Monitor. But also if you're going in on Ravager, you're usually just killing your opponent when you do that, right? And then like Ravager just kind of sits in play. Either they kill it and then you get to modular counter over and get a small amount of value, or you get to, you know, get value off what they're killing instead. So like I kind of feel like it's fine. But yeah, like there is tension there. There is tension there. Yeah, I should have equipped something on some Memnite. But I only have 1 synthesizer. It's an engineer target in that deck. Yeah, but in this list specifically, I just wanted to explore like how Ravager feels with synthesizer, because I know that Ravager doesn't see a lot of play in these affinity decks. I don't think that it's truly terrible. And like, well, I wanted to see how like big of an upgrade it was with this. It doesn't currently feel like a huge upgrade or anything. Big draw. Alright, Ravager, we'll see how useless you actually are. Well, I'm just trying to think. Should I mean, I got so punished. I'm sorry. It was obviously a mistake not to equip onto the Memnite last turn. Super punished when I got to, you know, draw all these extra cards too. Yeah, useless confirmed, huh? Like, I mean, obviously I can just equip Plating onto Memnite, attack, and then force them to use a removal spell here. What's tough about doing that is I tap a blocker and I'm just into 2 removal spells. I don't think casting the Nettlecyst makes any sense because I have to tap 2 creatures. I'm down a blocker anyways. I mean, my opponent's already cast a Kolaghan's Command. I'm not sure that you're supposed to like really think too hard about another one. Okay, but what's really nice here is I do beat Unholy Heat with the Ravager. If I equip the Plating here, if they have Unholy Heat exactly, I get them. And it's like, they've already used 2 Drowns and a Kolaghan's Command. So like they have to have 3rd Drown, 2nd Kolaghan's Command, which is not that likely. And then they have to have it into another removal spell for me to lose. Yeah, they could have pushed, that's true. But they showed us, you know, with seeing the Lightning Bolt push is like maybe less likely. I do feel like waiting, we're pretty likely to like just, yeah, I think leaving everything back puts us in a pretty good position to win. I think it's probably a bit too risky to go into it. It's dressed down and answer. They should have dressed down already if they had it. I really they just can't have dressed down when I cast Thought Monitor into Ravager and they didn't cast dress down in response to either of those. Oh, you wanted to draw a card off Synthesizer there? Yeah, that was maybe correct. Yeah. I think they have K command because they thought really long when I had 1 card in hand. Maybe, yeah. Could be a correct read. Okay, results. Why not shock demons equipped with plating? I can attach the plating at instant speed in combat here. I get to go block and then spin black to attach whatever I'm blocking with. So I shouldn't need to shock to do that here. Okay, dead to push. I know this is a 13-13, this is 11-11, but the shadow dies end of turn when the dress down gets sacked. Okay, yeah. Thankfully it doesn't have the push as well. Shadow dies. Tough game. I obviously haven't played this game very well. So we have the option to sack the Synthesizer. Or just play Nettlecyst. I think I'll sack the Synthesizer first. Because I can also cast the Nettlecyst off the drum plus Moonsnare anyways. And then I can either leave both of these back to block Ragavan, or I can use the 2 mana to equip something here. Oh, I can just sorry, I'll just instant speed plating again. Yeah, I can just instant speed plating, get the best of both worlds. Yeah, we sure do have a lot of permanents on. This is just game 2, right? Putting on 1 Lurrus main, 1 Lurrus board, Jun Saga. Y'all are goofy for like really putting a lot of thought into Lurrus main of a lot of these decks. Like Lurrus in the main, I think is good if you're a deck that's wanting to play a lot of Unearths and is playing Baubles. But that's like the only condition where I've like really actively liked Lurrus as a main deck card in the format. But for the most time, when you just like want to have Lurrus in the main deck of these decks, you just want to have the best of all the worlds. You just want to have like you want to be able to play your fun 3 mana spells, your fun 3 and 4 mana spells, and get to play Lurrus. But like what is good, this line of text, this companion line of text, is why Lurrus is so strong. And if you're not utilizing it, the card is really not that good. You know, it is fine in some shells, but you're just like really overthinking it. Okay, game 3. Oni cut Envil plus Sword of the Meek. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's okay. Special seems. Yeah, I think that's a good point. As champion, probably. Well, no, the dress down also wrecks X champion. Yeah. Hey, Spider, how's it going? Yeah, dress down also wrecks champion, but you know, maybe it's like they can't dress down everything. But then they can. I don't know. Yeah, it really does feel like the card dressed down. Like my opponent double Kolagons commanded me that game. We still won. I guess they did also dress down, but they dressed down at a really weird time. Okay, let's mulligan this. Reluctant, keep this sad 6-card hand. Blood Crypt go. Okay, I'll just pass. Like I don't really want to give them the opportunity to use their mana on one of my creatures here. They didn't have Ragavan last turn, so if they draw Ragavan this turn and dash it, I think that's gonna just be okay. Just curious, what's the reason for running Shivan Reefs? Mana fixing. Well, you know, you're probably overthinking it. Like we're a blue and red deck that wants untapped mana, and like also like we're not going to tap for colored mana that often, right? So when we only want to tap our land for colored mana like once or twice a game, Shivan Reef ends up actually being really good. So my opponent heats my Ravager. I can save it by sacking 2 guys, but I'll probably just move a counter over to the Thopter, right? Spire is probably better because of Cranial. Well, what I don't like about Spire of Industry, and I have played some Spires in these decks lately, but what I don't like about Spire of Industry is that it doesn't cast Moonsnare Prototype on turn 1. You know what I mean? Which is I think that is a huge problem. Like, I mean, obviously you can have a 0-mana artifact creature, so it does, but you don't always. Yeah, just unban Seed of the Synod. Anchored Furnace. Deranged comment. Deranged comment. But, it'll be pretty freaking fun. What, Glimmervoid? I mean, Glimmervoid's an interesting option. I think Shivan Reef is really good. Like, Glimmervoid doesn't, Shivan Reef doesn't have the crazy downside Glimmervoid does. Glimmervoid is better with, the plating. I do concede that though, but I think I just want to go with the Reefs. See, if you always forget that Shivan Reef, or that, sorry, if you forget that plating has that activated ability, like I always do, then Shivan Reef is actually just strictly better than your other options. I'm playing Glimmervoid and hating them, yeah. I remember I played an FNM one time, and my opponent went turn 1 Glimmervoid Vault Scourge. I bolted it on my turn. I had to remind my opponent of the trigger, which I said Glimmervoid trigger immediately puts in the graveyard. Was just like very intentionally trying to, like, you know, hope I forgot. And then my opponent like went like Inkmoth Nexus the next turn. And then they went Glimmervoid, Steel Overseer. I mana leaked it. And then my opponent made me remind them of the Glimmervoid trigger again. Like, didn't put it in the yard. And then once I did remind my opponent of the Glimmervoid trigger, he went, "You had everything you needed at every possible moment." And this was game 1. This was game 1. He then scoops up all of his cards and leaves the store. Scoops up all the cards and leaves the store after declaring, "I had everything I needed at every moment," which was turn 1 Lightning Bolt, turn 3 Mana Leak. Left the store after game 1. After game 1. Like, it's crazy. Everything I needed at every moment. Is stream deck down? If you're asking, it probably is. But it wasn't down earlier. What round? Oh yeah, sorry. It was round 3. We were both 2-0 at the time. We were both 2-0. So it was like, it out of like it was like a 4 or 5 round event. I think it was probably 4 rounds. It was just ridiculous. It was like Wednesday Night Magic or something. It was probably like a 15-person event or something. Just silly. I think we've all got a story or two like that, huh? Okay, so now my construct is a 7/7. So if I attack with everything, my opponent has to block it or die. So it's okay. This is kind of weird. Yeah, I guess I attack with just the construct, because if I attack with one of my 1/1s, the shadow survives this block. Ever made an opponent throw a card? I've had an opponent like throw their entire deck on the floor before, but never like one specific card. There's more to that story too, but I've told it in the past. But like the next part, it just kind of gets, the fact that it cascades is a little unbelievable. But I guess well, we've got a little time. So this guy that I played has a brother who is also like a known local hothead, known local toxic Magic player, right? And so I beat this guy who gets salty and leaves, whatever, game 1. It's not a huge deal. But then I play against the guy's brother the next round. And I'm playing, he's playing Affinity, and Also playing Affinity, which I always thought was so weird that, you know, they had the same deck. Okay, so I'll sack. So this is gonna kill the construct. So I'm gonna sack the construct first, then sack the Gingerbrute. Whatever, right? And so I was playing against them, and the guy's brother was trying to modular. He was going in for the kill. He wasn't playing around Lightning Bolt. He sacked all his counters to Ravager, and then he went to modular onto like a lethal Signal Pest or something, right? Like a pretty standard play. But I had the Lightning Bolt, so he moved the counters to Signal Pest. I went bolted in response, and then he just starts to go, "Come on, man! Come on, man! You have to let me choose my targets. Come on!" He said, "Come on, man!" like probably 20 times in a minute. He goes, "Come on, man! You gotta choose your targets." I'm like, "Okay, choose your targets. I'm gonna Lightning Bolt whatever you target." He's like, "Come on, man! You have to let me choose my targets." And he was just like, so clearly and blatantly just trying to get me flustered so that I would let him modular onto the Signal Pest and kill me. And then like when it was clear that didn't happen, or that wasn't gonna happen, and that he was gonna lose the game because of this, he got and that other people were starting to look and get attention. He got furious, like super toxic, like yelling, and he like got really fucking heated. And it was incredibly uncomfortable. Let's let the Surveils resolve first. It was just incredibly uncomfortable. Okay, so they have Delirium, but then they lose Delirium when the Shadow leaves the graveyard. But I should just go in on the Ornithopter here, right? 4, 5, 6, yeah. 4, 5, okay. I will say that I played a lot of Paper Magic. I only had experiences like that, you know, a handful of times. But they were always like so odd and uncomfortable every time they did happen. Oh, don't get the Thought Monitor though. Tells you time of rage. I've never had any experience doing anything close to that. I have never in any time gotten anywhere that close to upset, or at least like at my opponent. I don't know. Everybody's been tilted. I've never like screamed at my opponent or tried to like intentionally get them flustered and angle shoot. All right, we're 3-1 after losing round 1. It was upsetting. But what was upsetting was, like 2 turns later, I cast a Cryptic Command, and as I'm like resolving Cryptic Command, I accidentally slid the Vendilion Click into the graveyard. It's really weird that we both did that in the game. I fully acknowledge that. But then I just tried to put the Vendilion Click back into play, and my opponent calls a judge. My opponent calls a judge and is like, "You can't do that. You put the Vendilion Click in the graveyard. It should stay dead." And I'm like, "No, what the hell? That doesn't work." And I'm like, also, you did this too. And he locks up, doesn't look me in the eye, doesn't say anything. Just wait. He won't respond to me talking to him. Just waits for the judge to come over. And then the judge comes over. I let him explain what happened. That I resolved Cryptic Command. I put the Vendilion Click in my graveyard. And the judge is like, "Yes, obviously you just get to put the Vendilion Click back in play. What's going on?" And it's just like. And then what was like really like and then like over the course of that match, he goes on to make like 3 illegal plays where he tries to condemn a blocking creature, he tries to Detention Sphere my Detention Sphere, and I call him out on it, and like both times he immediately takes it back, and it's like so clear that he knows that this is a mistake, and like he gets 2 warnings, doesn't get a 3rd warning obviously, but he knows that he's like making these plays on purpose, right? Like intentionally just trying to cheat, seeing if I know these weird things. I'm just getting more and more tilted, okay? And so then it's later in the game, and I tap 6 lands. I say cast Elspeth, Sun's Champion, and for a second I show Gideon, like the 5-mana Gideon, and I'm like, no, and I just like take the wrong card out of my hand. I don't even put it on the table, and I pull it back, and then my opponent calls a judge and tries to make me cast the Gideon instead of the Elspeth. Gideon Jura. Like, my opponent calls a judge and tries to make me cast Gideon instead of Elspeth. And I'm just, like, at this point, tilted out of my mind. That all of, and again, I go, are you serious, dude? Are you really doing this? Again, won't make eye contact with me, completely silent, won't respond to anything I'm saying, just waits for the judge to come, looking down at the table. I'm fuming, absolutely fuming. And the judge is like, yeah, you get to cast the Elspeth. And then the judge leaves, and I win the match, but like, that was the most upset I've ever been playing Paper Magic. That was the most upset I've ever been playing Paper Magic. I've never experienced playing against a person like that before, never again, but it was really not fun. Thank Clothis for judges, absolutely. I did win, yeah. I did win. Yeah, that deck was really fun. Yeah, this was a Star City Games Invitational. In Roanoke. I don't remember what year it was, but I scrubbed out of the Invitational. I was playing the Open. I think I did okay at the Open. I can't remember. I think I probably top 32 or something. But I don't think there's any more to the story. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, my opponent just like knowingly just made like 5 like really blatant, embarrassing cheats. It was just a frustrating experience. And it's just like, what was so weird was like, I kept, like when I called them out on it, he just would not make eye contact, would not respond to me. I don't know what about that was just so tilting, but that was like, in a lot of ways, that was the worst part of it. that they just call a judge, no eye contact, no responding. It was crazy. Yeah, the judge let me cast Elspeth. I said tap 6 mana, cast Elspeth Sun's Champion. The other card didn't touch the table. I just kind of grabbed the wrong card for a second. It was just all so weird. Now I'm getting mad just thinking about it, even like 6 years later, 5 years later, something like that. Tell one of these stories a day. I've told this story on stream. It's been probably like a full year since I've told this story on stream, but I have told it in the past. Don't dress down me. I can't take it. Not game 1. Dude, this is like our 3rd Grixis opponent this league. Snap push. I've been liking it. I feel like these, like, I will say that Synthesizer feels pretty good. I don't think that you need Ravager to make Synthesizer good, which is like a pretty good, important thing to know, or note, whatever. Yeah, I don't think you need Ravager to make Synthesizer good, and I do think there's a Zabaz plus Synthesizer is kind of cute, but yeah, Synthesizer is just kind of good on its own, I think. Yeah, the energy I'm gonna have experience like this. Is New Tezzeret good? New Tezzeret's worse than I thought, because if you cast it off of a piece of artifact mana, including Citadel, Drum, Moonsnare, then you don't get the mana reduction that first turn, which makes it a lot worse, where you can't get like Tezzeret equipped Nettlecyst, you know. So it's worse than I thought it was. Ravager looks kind of bad. Maybe replace. Yeah, you could play Thoughtcast over it. Like at the very least, like the intention behind this league is I want to play test Ravager plus Experimental and see how it is. Ravager has also like felt like a pretty good card, and it is true I'm a bit worried about playing too many just card advantage spells and not enough kill you spells. I feel like that's a big problem with a lot of these Affinity brews, is that they have just too many card draw spells, and they're not fast enough, and they kind of lose on a lot of races. That being said, it might be just correct to play Thoughtcast. I'm not saying it's not, but this is my concern. I think I like going for the Thought Monitor here instead of the Nettlecyst number 2. To attack for a lot here. We talk about the team archetype lists that have started to show up. I mean, they're not starting to show up. They've been around. I personally feel like the green splash is very painful on the mana base. It is doable, but it is not free. Tarmogoyf has always been worse in these blue decks compared to the black decks. It's almost always better to pair Tarmogoyf with discard spells than counter spells. I feel like I find the card to be a lot worse in counterspell based decks. And there's also tension between Murktide and Goyf because you're exiling your yard pretty aggressively. Murktide region is better than Tarmogoyf also, and like in blue red Murktide, I also feel like doesn't need a Tarmogoyf that much because you already have 4 Murktide regions. So this is my take on the Temur Murktide lists, and I guess it just kind of boils down to I don't like it that much. I think I want to put this on the Gingerbrute instead of the Thought Monitor. What if I love Tarmogoyf and Dirtling? Yeah, like, I mean, that's really why people are playing this deck, right? It's cool to play Tarmogoyf in your Temur deck. Like, it's really fun. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with, you know, playing a deck that is cool and fun. I heavily encourage it even. But I competitively speaking, I just don't think this is the best way to build the deck for these reasons. Yeah, I haven't played any with the Artifact Dig Through Time. I intend to at some point, but the problem is like I feel like a lot of times you're not hitting good payoff cards with this card, and also like it is also like the slowest of all of the artifact-based card advantage. Lava Man, thank you for the Twitch Prime, appreciate you. Answer. What's on my nose? It's a Breathe Right strip. I very regularly wear them because I get a little sniffly sometimes without them, and when I'm talking all day I don't like to be all sniffly and nasally. Which is a better way to ask that than do you accidentally have what was it? It was like, do you intentionally have a Breathe Right strip on? It's like, yeah, I know it's there. yeah, so I can't remember exactly how they phrased it. How long do I think it'll take the meta to settle? I mean, the modern meta has never really settled. Just depends. Okay, it's kind of a nutty draw. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, I can't actually attack. No, yeah, never mind. I can't attack with 2 creatures and threaten the equip. But my opponent is F6, which doesn't make a lot of sense because they're currently bluffing a removal spell in order to pretend like they're not dead here. So why F6? Yeah, I slipped and fell right into the Breathe Right strip. So I wanted to cut a Moonsnare for Needle. Yeah, it seems like they're more of the Snapcaster version, which we did beat. What did we lose to in round 1, chat? I can't remember. Probably want these relics. They're playing Snapcaster, Croaks of Drown. I think I did something like this earlier against their variant. Oh no, so I wanted to cut the Shadowspear against like the more controlling version. That's right. We lost round 1 to Grixis. Okay, we played against Grixis like 3 or 4 times this league. Yeah, it had to be to a dress down deck. What's prevalent modern deck is my worst matchup right now? I mean, I just can't tell you. Like this is like my 2nd or 3rd league with this build. I just can't tell you what the worst matchup is. Oh, I forgot about the Boros Burning Inquiry deck. Why does this deck have 0 removal, not counting Prototype? Just curious. Well, I don't think you need removal in a deck like this, where we are the deck that's very much committed to being the proactive deck in matchups. Like I'm very much committed to putting threats in play and making my opponent deal with them. And you know, and this deck's philosophy is that the best defense is a good offense. Just put your threats forward. You don't have to deal with anything. You put your opponents on the back foot. Do you need a higher permanent density than Thoughtcast can allow? Well, the idea is I'm just playing experimental synthesizer over the Thoughtcast, which I think has been fine. I haven't disliked it. I actually have liked Synthesizer a lot. I think it's a card that I will continue to play in this deck, but I do think that the Ravager is probably going to be the flex spot here. It's like you can play Thoughtcast over Ravager. I will say I have liked Ravager. It obviously has synergy with Synthesizer and like, okay, this Oh, okay, well I get punished for not playing my Ornithopter. That was a reason to play the Ornithopter. But I think I'll play the Ravager here. This does not wreck me as much as the Dreadnought deck, huh? What, the blue drum or 8 rocks too many? I've really liked being on 8 rocks in this deck. You have a lot of mana sinks with your equipment and your Urza Saga and your Thought Monitor too. You have a lot of mana and your Experimental Synthesizer. And then the Moonsnare Prototype is good with Synthesizer because it taps pretty easily for that, and it's also good with your equipments too. Particularly Cranial Plating, like you get to go cast Cranial Plating, tap it to Synthesizer, equip Cranial Plating. Is a pretty good and common. Oh, the exiled bauble, they can't cast it because of Void Mirror. Yeah, but I think that's a good and common play pattern. Is yeah, again, cast plating, tap plating to Moonsnare. Same issue when I played Rav, plating a Nettle. They're too much mana investment, and you get out tempoed out. Well, I mean, this is something to think about. Is like, while yes, these are all high mana investments. You now have Moonsnare Prototype, so you have more mana, and so you do want to play more cards with the right. You want to have more cards to invest that mana into. Is at least my thinking, and I have liked the Ravager so far. I will say that I'm not arguing that Ravager is definitely the correct way to go for the deck. But what I am saying is that it's my opinion that Affinity pilots have dismissed Ravager a little bit too heavily, because of like, the fact that these are now like, more so Affinity decks rather than, Metalcraft decks, however you want to phrase it. Serval, thank you for the 10 months, dude. The end of turn dress down is very good here. Okay, so we're not making a token. We're not doing anything this turn. I guess we're gonna play. I guess we get to play Plating Equip. We get to play Plating Equip. We get to put a Relic into play or a Springleaf Drum. Probably a Relic. Zabaz dies because of the dress down. Yeah, but I just kind of feel like people have not spent enough time exploring Ravager in these decks. I'm not saying it's the best way to build it, but I'm saying it's underexplored. 2-month sub, so close to 1 year. Hell yeah, hell yeah. We got burned by Saga using Saga T, that second main. Yeah, I am for sure. It was a weird spot. Yeah, Moonsnare also, like, we like it was, what was one really cool thing about Moonsnare was we played against an opponent playing Ensnaring Bridge, and like usually we would have just been like dead to the Ensnaring Bridge game 1, but because we had Moonsnare Prototype, we were actually just okay against it. I'm gonna target myself for Drown of the Lock purposes. So this costs 4 mana or 3 mana. I only have 2. Yeah, there were other things happening there, but that was yeah, maybe the takeaway, huh? I think my opponent's dead. Right? This is this get 2 counters. Yeah, they're exactly dead. I mean, yeah, this has definitely been something that's happening a lot too. It's just like Ravager just sits in play until it kills your opponent, and then like when it's killing your opponent, there's not like that much tension with your, Thought Monitors, Cranial Platings, because they're just dead. And I think playing Ravager in this deck this way, where it's just like a slow, grindy value card, it either kills your opponent or it's just sitting there, putting a lot of pressure on your opponent's removal. I think this is a fine way to play this card, So again, like this is not me claiming Ravager is the way, the truth, the way to go in Affinity, but I just think it's generally been under tested in these decks. And oh boy, dude, this is like the 5th Ragavan I've opened in the last 30 days. I've opened so many of them. Hold on to chests? Nope. Open them for Ragavans. Don't hold them. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Andrea never opens anything good. Everybody else on Magic Online siphons Andrea Mingucci's luck into themselves. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we'll continue messing around with the synthesizer deck.